Hello, and welcome back to the Podcasting Problem Solver. I'm Leah Bryant, podcast growth strategist and coach, here to help you podcast strategically with more clarity and better results. I want to start this episode off by asking you a question. Have you ever stared at your outline and thought, oh gosh, is this long enough for a real episode? Or maybe it was the opposite. Oh no, this is way too long. I am rambling again. Well, we've all been there, friend, because how long should my episodes be is one of the most common questions I get from clients and in my DMs. And honestly, I want to share something with you. It's actually the wrong question to start with, because the length of the episode isn't what makes an episode effective. You know what does? It's the strategy. So let's start this off by busting a myth before we go any further, okay? There is no magical length that guarantees success. Not 15 minutes, not 45, and not even those 3-hour marathons some people swear by. Now, if we are talking data, yes, research does show that around 20 minutes or so tends to be the sweet spot for listener retention, aka your consumption rate. It's short enough to hold the attention, but long enough to deliver substance. But there's a catch. That's an average, okay? It's not the rule. Because what really matters is your audience, right? Are they busy entrepreneurs who want quick wins between meetings? Or deep dive learners who want long form conversations during their commute? Your episode length should serve their habits and not just the stats that the industry provides. Inside my seamless framework, that's strategy, execution, attraction, and momentum, this question lives squarely in the strategy phase. Because before you ever hit record, I want you to know why your episode exists and who you're really talking to. I mean, because if your goal is to inspire quick action, teach a focused concept, or drop a tactical win like this Thursday quick win, then yes, shorter is perfect. But if your goal is to tell a layered story, interview a guest, or unpack something that's complex, then yes, longer makes sense. But either way, the length of your episode should be a byproduct of your strategy and not your anxiety. Okay, Leah, this is all great, but how do I figure out the right length for my show? Well, I'm so glad that you asked. So I want to share my simple 3-part checklist for you. 1, I want you to think about the purpose. What is this episode supposed to do for your listener? Is it to educate, inspire, convert, or entertain? Next, I want you to think about your pacing. Can you deliver that value clearly and confidently without a bunch of nonsense or filler? And then I want you to think about the pattern, okay? What length helps you stay consistent? Because consistency, as I have said a million times and will continue to do so, is what creates trust, and that trust drives growth. You can have the most brilliant 60-minute episode ever recorded in the history of ever. But if you burn out trying to produce it every week, your audience won't stick around. This is where we start connecting the strategy with the execution, right? You want to make sure your episodes are not only strategic, but sustainable. And that's one of the biggest things that we refine inside the Seamless Sprint, by the way. It's where I help podcasters stop guessing and start building episodes that fit their goals and their lives. So one of my clients, Dr. C, came to me feeling stuck, right? She said, Leah, I think my episodes might be too short. I sound like I'm rushing. Maybe I need to make them longer so people take me seriously. When we dug into her strategy, we realized that her short episodes were actually pretty perfect. She just wasn't structuring them intentionally. So we repositioned her podcast around her strengths, right? Mindset, productivity, and business growth. And then we refined her titles, her descriptions, and SEO, tightening up everything so her episodes worked harder for her. And then, get this, just 2 weeks later, her downloads went up 10%. And it wasn't because she was making longer episodes, but it was because she was making better ones, right? Her listeners didn't need more time with her, but what they did need was clarity from her. So if you take nothing else from this episode, I want you to take this. The right length is the one that lets you say what you need to say, no more, no less. If your episode teaches something valuable, holds their attention, and aligns with your listeners' needs, then you know what? You've nailed it, my friend. Whether that's an 8-minute episode or an 80-minute episode. The thing I want you to remember is that your focus should always be strategic clarity over arbitrary length, okay? And if you're ready to make your episodes more strategic, not just longer, I've got something brand new for you. Yes, I'm really excited for this. It's called the Seamless Podcast Growth Checklist, and it's completely free. Yep, this tool is going to help you see exactly where your podcast stands across all 4 phases of my Seamless framework. That's strategic positioning, streamlined execution, optimized attraction, and sustainable momentum. You're going to be able to spot the gaps that might be limiting your growth and know how to fix them. Get episode recommendations tailored to your results. Also, review your SEO and podcast search optimization to make sure that your show is getting found by the right listeners. Last but not least, discover your next best step, okay? So think of it like a quick podcast health check, something you can revisit anytime your show or your business evolves. You can grab it right now using the link in the show notes or head to leahbryantco.com/growth-checklist to get your free copy. And remember, podcasting isn't about talking longer. It's about talking with purpose, okay? Until next time, keep podcasting with purpose. Trust your message over the minutes. And remember, your value isn't measured by how long you talk, but how clearly you are connecting with your audience. And as always, keep it seamless, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.